Hey guys, it's Anime Havocc, back with another insane anime recap for you. Today, we're diving into a story where a royal engagement turns into complete chaos. We've got a crazy princess who throws hands like Mike Tyson, a dumb prince who seriously needs a brain upgrade, and enough royal drama to fuel an entire Netflix series. So grab your snacks because this one's wild. Let's jump into it. Our story begins with Scarlet Elandmian, a noble girl who's been engaged to Prince Kyle since before they were even born. Their parents made a pact to unite their families. Sounds romantic, right? Well, not for long. At a fancy royal ball filled with nobles, chandeliers, and fake smiles, Kyle suddenly stands up and publicly calls off the engagement. Yup, this man decides to humiliate Scarlet in front of everyone, declaring that he's done pretending to love her. The reason? He's fallen in love with another girl named Taranza, or Taryn for short. The room goes silent, and then the guests actually start clapping for Kyle and his side chick like this betrayal was some kind of fairy tale ending. Scarlet's just standing there, completely stunned, wondering how everyone's okay with this nonsense. Kyle says Taryn is kind and pure while Scarlet is emotionless and cold. He even claims that being engaged to her for 17 years was the greatest disgrace of his life. Scarlet tries to keep her composure and reminds him that their engagement was arranged by their families. But Kyle smirks and says he can cancel it because she's a petty criminal who's been harassing Taryn out of jealousy. Taryn jumps in with fake tears, pretending Scarlet bullied her at the academy. Scarlet's like, "What are you even talking about? This is literally the first time I've met you." But Kyle's brain cells must have gone missing, because he accuses Scarlet of locking Taryn in toilets and pushing her downstairs. Basically, he's reading straight from the bad boy betrays his fiancé cliché script. At this point, Scarlet's patience hits zero. She tells him fine. If he wants to break off the engagement, she's cool with it. But before it's official, she has one final request. Kyle, being his usual smug self, says she can ask whatever she wants. Scarlet walks up to him, clenches her fist, and calmly says, "I just want to punch you in the face." Everyone freezes. Kyle blinks, confused, and before he can even react, Scarlet throws a beautiful right hook. Not at Kyle, but straight into Taryn's smug little face, sending her flying across the ballroom. The crowd gasps, jaws drop, and Scarlet's like, "I feel better already. See, this wasn't just a random act of violence. Scarlet's been like this her whole life. Ever since she was little, she loved fighting. Every week she'd beat up some spoiled noble who bullied commoners. Her brother Leonardo constantly lectured her to act like a lady, but Scarlet always said she was doing it for the greater good. He'd find her standing over some crying noble brat, covered in bruises, while she'd say, he deserved it. When Scarlet was about to enter noble society, Leonardo begged her to behave, but that promise was doomed the moment she met her fiancé, the insufferable Prince Kyle. At their very first meeting, Kyle looked her dead in the eyes and said, "You'll be my servant from now on." Scarlet's fist twitched immediately. She wanted to send him flying but held back because, well, he was royalty. From that moment, her suffering officially began. For years, Kyle bullied her nonstop, throwing tantrums, pulling pranks, and humiliating her in public. Even her father couldn't stop it because the royal family held too much power. But Scarlet didn't break. Instead, she trained her patience like a monk. By age 15, she was a top student at the National Academy. Smart, respected, and elegant. Kyle was there too. And of course, he couldn't resist trying to embarrass her again. He'd storm into her class yelling things like, "Hey servant, go get my lunch." Scarlet would smile politely and go, "Right away, Your Highness," while secretly calculating the exact angle and velocity of the punch she'd deliver one day. One day, Kyle got demoted to the regular class for failing his exams. Furious, he barged into Scarlet's classroom and tried to cut her hair just to teach her a lesson. She warned him to stop, but he went as far as insulting her father, calling him a royal lapdog. That was the last straw. Scarlet's fists were ready for action. But before she could send this clown into orbit, the first prince, Julius, Kyle's older brother, walked in and stopped the fight. Julius lectured Kyle, who quickly ran off, tail between his legs. Scarlet thanked Julius for saving her, and he told her not to worry about it. At first, she respected him for being decent, but over time, that changed. Julius started showing up everywhere Scarlet went. He'd follow her around, ask weird questions, and even admit he found her fascinating. Turns out, this guy was keeping notes about her behavior like she was a science project. Scarlet went from respecting him to hating him real fast and swore that one day she'd punch both princes just to balance things out. Back to the present. Scarlet just delivered that satisfying punch to Taryn, but she's not done yet. Everyone at the ball who cheered for Kyle? Yeah, they're about to get a taste of justice. Scarlet pulls out her custom fighting gloves, and which she apparently keeps on her at all times. And the nobles start panicking. Guards rush in, but Scarlet's got something they don't. Time magic granted by the god Cronoa. She moves faster than the eye can see and begins laying waste to everyone in her path. The corrupt nobles drop one by one like dominoes as Scarlet delivers punishment with every punch. By the time she's done, the ballroom looks like a battlefield. The only one still standing is Kyle, and this man's already trembling and crying. Scarlet walks up to him, smirks, and says, "It's your turn now." Then she punches him so hard he crashes into a wall. Right then, Leonardo bursts into the ballroom, eyes wide in horror, while Julius is literally in the corner, laughing his royal head off. Scarlet looks like she just finished her morning workout. Leonardo starts yelling, demanding to know what she did, and Scarlet casually replies, "They pissed me off." Julius can't stop laughing and even jokes that he wishes someone had recorded it. A few days later, Scarlet wakes up after passing out from overusing her magic. Turns out she's officially free. The engagement is canceled. Kyle's been disowned by the royal family, and all those nobles she beat up got arrested for corruption. Julius tells her she's become a national legend known as the Bloodstained Lady, the vigilante noble who single-handedly cleaned house. Scarlet just shrugs, proud of herself, while her brother is having a mental breakdown in the corner. But the peace doesn't last long. While recovering, Scarlet is attacked by her maid, who jumps on her bed with a knife screaming, "Die!" Scarlet catches the blade mid-air and punches her into the wall before Leonardo rushes in, yelling, "You're punching people again?" But there's a twist. The maid isn't human. She's actually a shape-shifting beastman named Nunica, enslaved by the Prime Minister, Godwin, one of the men behind the country's illegal slave trade. Scarlet uses her time magic to reverse his slave crest, freeing him from control. Nanaka explains that Godwin spies on noble families, blackmailing them into joining his slave ring. Scarlet's eyes light up, because now she's got her next target. Nanaka tells her about a secret slave auction happening in a week, and Scarlet immediately decides she's going to infiltrate it and destroy everyone involved. Of course, Julius, who overhears her plan, tags along because he finds chaos entertaining. Together, they disguise themselves as buyers and meet a disgusting noble named Zathon, who openly laughs about selling beastmen. Scarlet almost punches him right there, but Nanaka stops her, reminding her to stick to the plan. Zathon says that to enter the auction, she needs to prove herself by either selling 6 slaves or bringing 1 valuable slave as her offering. Then he offers her a deal. Hand over her beastman servant, Nanaka, and he'll vouch for her entry. Scarlet forces a polite smile and says, "Sure, deal." The moment they leave, she's like, "I'm going to break his jaw later." To make her infiltration convincing, Scarlet pretends to hand over Nanaka. Inside Zathon's mansion, a massive brute named Donovan, half human, half monster, tries to drag Nanaka away using a whip. Scarlet catches the whip with her bare hand like it's nothing. Zathon laughs and says Donovan's a former A-rank adventurer. Scarlet raises an eyebrow and says, "Cool. That means he can handle what's coming." She flings Donovan into the air and uppercuts him straight through the ceiling. The entire room goes silent as Zathon stares, terrified. Scarlet then calmly removes Nanaka's collar, heals him, and hugs him. "Hang in there. I'll come back for you soon," she says, walking out like an action hero, leaving an explosion behind her. That night, Julius finds her outside the inn and teases her for managing to solve a problem without violence. Scarlet glares and punches a wall. Julius just laughs and says, "Don't worry, the wall won't press charges." Then he buys her an apple pie from a street vendor, and Scarlet takes one bite and immediately melts. She says it's the best thing she's ever eaten, and Julius smirks, handing her another. They walk through the market together, and for the first time, Scarlet relaxes. Julius admits that he used to sneak out of the palace just to explore the city, and that he wanted her to see it too. She realizes maybe he's not as bad as she thought. Then out of nowhere, Julius drops his usual smirk and gets serious. He says that ever since he was a kid, everything around him felt fake. Nobles trying to suck up to him, people acting perfect all the time. He says the only person who ever caught his attention was her, a girl who doesn't pretend, who stands up to injustice, who scares half the royal court with her fists. He admits that she's the only person who makes life interesting for him. Then he leans in and kisses her on the cheek. Scarlet freezes like a statue. Julius says, "It's not romantic love, but you're the most interesting person in my life." Scarlet's brain short circuits. And later that night, she just lays on her bed like, did that really just happen? The next day, Scarlet meets with Zathan again to hand over Nanaka and secure her place in the auction. Zathan demands proof that Nanaka's really a beastman, and Nanaka transforms right in front of him. Just then, Donovan, the guy she launched into orbit earlier, walks back in, furious and ready for revenge. Zathan tells him to stand down, but Donovan says he's not letting a woman humiliate him twice. He tries pulling back his whip again, but Scarlet doesn't even flinch. She looks him dead in the eye and says, "You should have stayed down." Then she tosses him into the air and punches him through the roof again. Zathan's eyes almost pop out of his head. Scarlet removes Nanaka's collar again, heals his injuries, and says she'll return for him. Zathan, terrified, tells her she doesn't have to pay for the damages and even thanks her for disciplining Donovan. Scarlet leaves without another word. Outside, Leonardo's waiting in a carriage, furious. He yells at Scarlet and Julius for being reckless, but they tell him they've found the auction's location. Leonardo sighs, realizing there's no stopping them, and agrees to help. He warns them that Prime Minister Godwin is running the auction himself, and that foreign delegates from the Vanquish Empire will be there. That's bad news because the Vanquish Empire is a rival nation, ruled by ruthless dragon riders who respect only power. Scarlet smirks and says, "Good, then they'll respect my fists?" Julius laughs while Leonardo facepalms so hard it echoes. Meanwhile, Godwin is already plotting Scarlet's death. He meets with soldiers from the Vanquish Empire to discuss eliminating her. Among them is a mysterious red-haired girl who reveals herself to be none other than Terran, the same side chick Scarlet decked at the start. She holds up a strange metal weapon no one's ever seen before and calls it a gift from the goddess Palmia. Godwin laughs it off, but when she fires it and blows apart a vase, his jaw drops. A gun! In a world that's never seen one before. Terran smirks and says this weapon can kill even the strongest warriors, and that's where the story ends, setting up the next arc, where Scarlet will face political corruption, an arms race, and a storm of revenge. And that's where we'll leave it for now. Scarlet went from a heartbroken fiancé to the ultimate noble brawler, and somehow she's got a prince falling for her along the way. If you enjoyed this wild story, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another anime video. This is Anime Havocc, and I'll see you in the next one.